Let me know when we record, man. Hey, man, welcome to the DipdNWhipd Podcast. It's your boy C. Holmes, man, aka
Yes,
Young
sir.
Hefe, man. Back again with another episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, episode 10, we in the building, man. They said I ain't speaking up, but now I'm loud.
Yes, sir. It's your
You know what I'm saying?
dog. Off with the sauce. My dog is doing his thing,
Hey, we
man.
call him Elvis Brown, boy. That boy
Yes,
look
sir.
like
They call me Chocolate
Cosmic
Midnight.
Brownie. Hey, baby.
Come on now.
Chocolate Cosmic
Come on
Muffin
now. They
Brownie.
call me Coffee Black.
Coffee Black.
Come on
The
now.
newest member of the Non-Temptation.
Come on now. Mama, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Wherever he laid his hat was his home.
When he died.
All he left me was alone.
Show the boot. Show that boot.
Gotta
The boot
show
is-
him the boot
Boy,
now.
them things. He can
I'm
step on a
Chocolate
roach
City in here, and
he
we
can
ain't
step on a
talking
roach in the
DC.
corner and them, boy.
We ain't talking DC when I'm talking Chocolate City. Nah, man.
That boy got a Cosmic Brown.
Welcome
He can
to
step on that feet.
Episode 10, man. My dog took it away, man. He gonna be talking his ish here today, man. He say he got us some icebreakers, so I'll let him take over.
All right, man. Icebreaker of the day.
Yeah.
If me and you were to go to jail, what would it be for?
So if like if I'm thinking what you would have went to jail for,
Yes.
Right.
What would it be?
it could be one or two things, right? One would definitely involve violence. Only because it would be happening. Only because
Imaginary friend.
it would be having something to do with either destiny or your peoples, or you seen how we get down when it comes to when we got to squabble up.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Woo-woo.
So those three factors go into that one thing as far as violence, right? So it would be like either aggravated assault or something like that. You know what I mean? Only because the dude lived to see the, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
What would I think? You want my take
yeah,
on you?
yeah,
Oof.
yeah. Let me hear.
What would D go to jail for?
That's a good question, though.
Sorry. What would Hoff go to jail for?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Stealing boxes.
That's
No, I'm just
crazy.
playing.
That's crazy.
I'll just play. How the hell you get
That's
fired
crazy.
on your day off?
On your day off.
Nah, if you were to go to jail, I would say maybe somebody messed with your kids.
Absolutely.
Maybe you did something clueless. I ain't saying you clueless, but I'm saying like you probably did something you ain't mean to, because sometimes you turn your brain off and get in your soft guy era, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Crystal puts you in your soft guy era, bro. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you can be forgetful, bro. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, probably that, or somebody got to be messing with your family. There's no way that anything else could. I think you two like reserved like me to where like I don't think nobody can really get you out of character,
Right.
unless they mess with your parents, or people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So probably that. A little aggravated assault.
Yeah.
Maybe a deadly weapon.
Probably. These
Depends
are
on the day.
weapons.
Depends. You ain't got the glove. You got them
These are
OJ
deadly
gloves on
weapons.
the.
Nah, they covered.
Showing your
They
punches for him.
concealed.
Show him some punches.
Come on now. Nah,
Is it?
I can't do
Okay,
that.
bye, weave.
I might go there. I might go.
You right.
You might come and lock me up.
Boy got a motorcycle in his trunk. That's
Yeah,
what the
come on now.
motorcycle does.
Come on now. Pull out that Acura. Yeah, I think it would be like the same sentiment. Unless I can't let anyone get me out of character, especially if they're talking about me, because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And can't nobody tell me otherwise.
You a YN?
Definitely not.
But we gonna talk about YNs.
Yeah, these YNs. We definitely gonna talk about how these YNs be crashing out. And
But you saying you gonna turn into a YN? Somebody mess with your family?
well, not necessarily a YN. I'm gonna turn into a very protective, overprotective, whether it's a father, husband, or brother, son, doesn't matter. When it comes to my family, I'm not even that type of guy, but when it comes to my family, I can go there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a killer, but don't push me.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
life is like the sweetest
So,
joy.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think that same sentiment for both of us could be said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's get to the YNs. I know we sound like some old heads, dressed like some old heads. Well, at least I am. Yeah, I think we can talk about the state of emergency that are the streets, right? When we were growing up, the streets maintained a respectful balance, right? You had your OGs who would, tell us certain things like, hey, don't go over here because we doing certain things over here. You know what I mean? Or don't be around here at this certain time, or like y'all be home before the street lights. Y'all listen to y'all parents. The OGs used to, like give back to the community. But I think nowadays these YNs are lacking that provision or that guidance in the streets. And I think as to where back in the day we had that guidance outside of our house, outside of our household, in the streets, the OGs were like the other, what they say, it takes a village. And I think we lack that village nowadays, or at least the parents of our generation, which we are the parents now. I think we aren't doing as good of a job creating a safe space or creating a village for our kids to grow up in, because now it's like, don't tell my kid nothing, or don't discipline my kid, or don't do nothing with my child. When as back in the day, our parents, if I go to your house, your dad can do to me what he can do to you if we do the same shit, if we get into trouble, and then vice versa, because there's a respect there. Like, I need my son, if he's going to be over there, I need him to respect you like he respect me. Right. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think we have that nowadays, and that's why these YNs are running amok in the streets.
And I think too, like, it's just like the blind leading the blind. You know, like people, like there's mothers and fathers nowadays that's 20, 19 years old, 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? And now you got the same person correcting the same behavior. I'm sorry, you got people correcting the same behavior that the parents showed, and now it's rubbing off on the kid. And they like, yeah, you right, because in school, like my teacher was telling me the same thing, and I wasn't even doing nothing. Right. Or it wasn't even me. So it's kind of like that bias. What I think it's going to call confirmation bias. One of those. I forgot what it's called, but it's like that Me Too aspect of, somebody telling you something like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, wrong is wrong. So like, chances are if they're repeating the same behavior that you showed in school, it's probably because they learned it from you in some other aspect. So, and just like you said, it takes a village, right? Like, like back then, like at least on my street where I grew up, like everybody can whoop everybody kids. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like the belt had no favorites. You know what I'm saying? The stick, the twig, the brick, whatever you got hit with that day.
Switch, the Mr. Woody. Yeah.
Then she'll pull that switch out. It'd be a stick hardened through the summer, wind stretched through night. It'll tear you up. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like my homeboy grandma could whoop us, or my, vice versa. And even in the schools, they had corporal punishment. Yeah. So, and I remember in middle school, a couple of our friends got corporal punishment by Coach Murphy.
By Coach Murphy, yeah.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Then back before, we kind of had like things to like, I want to say like correct behavior versus nowadays. It's like everybody's scared of everybody, or I don't want him to be mentally ill, or he doesn't, that happened to me, or, the mom can't suffice and take care of the kid as she should, and dad can as well. So I think it all stems from the parenting, and bad parenting 9 times out of 10 it can lead to, it reflects on the kid, because like you allow what you allow in your house. And now teachers like like Destiny and my parents are seeing the effects of kids raising kids, basically. And now your kid is bad in school, and now they dealing with it. So now you hear, and even Brent, like you hear about all these kids.
Yes, absolutely.
Doing stuff like, bro, we was bad. Not me, but we was bad. But like the stuff we did is nowhere near the magnitude of what they're doing now. Like kids nowadays are bringing guns to school, got switches, and all they care about is wearing ski masks in public. Come on, like, not saying that's a bad thing. You can wear a ski mask if you want. I'm just saying like the stereotypical. They wearing it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I think it's in conclusion, I feel like it's just the kids raising kids and nobody's correcting behavior no more.
I think what it is a lack of respect, right? We were always taught to respect whoever. Whenever we're outside of our parents' presence, whoever is in charge, we are supposed to respect them, right?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Without a doubt, we are taught respect early. And I think the thing is that the parents of today wants to coddle their kids because of what we went through. And a lot of things is like some of us got whooped with, like you said, switches, like
they got switches already. Yeah, they got switches.
They get whooped with different switches.
Yeah. Almost. Why you gotta switch me up, little bro? You in the wrong.
Yeah,
they got switches. They gonna hit your ass with a switch.
I think the thing is that there was a little bit of I'm going to respect everyone who I'm is handed off to, right? Because they have the potential to relay whatever I'm doing back to my parents. And I, of course, am a representation of them. And if I'm acting out and I know that they know that they didn't raise me that way,
that Belt gonna act out on me.
Belt, Mr. Woody.
Mr. Wood, that was his name.
Mr. Woody.
Mr. 2x4 Pines.
My dad wouldn't
polished steel.
My dad wouldn't even talk. He'll just walk by the room.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Yes, yeah.
Chest, heart,
he
ass.
already in that stretcher.
Heart in your ass.
And he played baseball.
Come on now.
Oh, it's over with.
It's over with. So I think it's a lack of accountability too, because it's like how many parents have, especially in our generation, have taken the time to kind of go through their, faults or their flaws and fix those before becoming a parent, or at least fix those while they're parenting and try to understand, okay, this way that I'm parenting my child might not be the best for them in the long run.
Just like that how people are saying like gentle parenting works, and like people be doing like comparison. Right. They're like, hey honey, please hand me this.
Yeah.
Hand me this. Hand me the mother. You know what I'm saying? And then the kid actually does it.
And I feel like with the whole gentle versus, traditional parenting,
you getting the belt.
I don't think there's
just like I did.
It should be an argument. I just think people need to understand that every kid is different.
Right.
So some kids need gentle parenting because some kids
don't require to be yelled at.
Yeah, don't require for you to put something on their backside. Some kids need traditional parenting or discipline as far as giving them whoopings or reprimanding them in certain ways, like putting them in timeout or taking something from them so they can understand there's a consequence to the actions that you or the choices that you make.
Do you think it's the boys that need more of the punishment than the girls?
I think it's both.
I think boys are more rebellious.
In this day and age, I think it needs to be both ways.
Because most of modern, the kids now is like it's the younger kids are
right.
Bro, I got on like even on get on a game, like some of the stuff these kids will say,
it's crazy,
bro. I'm like, why you gotta Swiss cheese me, little homie?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, calling me.
You know what I think it is too is
gosh.
that a lot of the kids of today aren't taught to. So for us, right? We play sports, right? We grew up to where once we start something, we can't quit it, right? Whatever it is that we are going through, the adversity, we have to get through it. And if whatever thoughts you have in your mind about quitting, erase those or compartmentalize those things so you can get through what you need to. And I think nowadays there's no getting through adversity for them. I think theirs is, okay, you can quit if you want to, because the coach is the problem or the teacher is the problem, or the adult is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't the issue, because they shouldn't be talking to you this way, or they shouldn't be handling you this way, or the coach shouldn't be putting y'all through these type of things, right? Yeah. And I think it's a lack of awareness, because it's like, if these kids don't go through those things, how will they last in the real world to understand that the real world is going to chew you up and spit you out?
Most of.
There's no such thing as handouts. There's no such thing as, oh, okay, you don't feel like it today. Okay, that's fine. Just come back tomorrow, or come back when you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have to go in to work, like for my family, right? I have to provide and protect every single day, right? Mm-hmm. Until I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Until I have no oxygen in my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get up and get to say, I don't feel like it today.
100%.
I don't feel like being a husband. I don't feel like being a dad. I don't feel like being a man today.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Even to the aspect of, like, some parents are just complacent, like, with just doing enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it requires them to go out their comfort zone, do things that they don't want to do at the time, or
Mm-hmm.
some parents would rather play the game, or they'll rather go to the club on the weekends, or do stuff like that, instead of and hand them my iPad and say, here, shut up.
Yeah.
Versus actually correcting me behavior. You'd rather, take the easy way out. If I just keep giving them this, I don't have to worry about hearing his mouth or hearing him cry. Just give him this, just give him this, just give him this, instead of sitting down, having that relationship with your kid, learning your kid, instead of just using technology or your shortcomings as a parent to, oh, well, I didn't get it done, so it's okay if you don't get it done. So you keep, instead of, like, just because you couldn't do a certain thing doesn't mean they can't.
Right.
Right. It can be hard. Like, that's a proven fact. A lot of parents don't always follow their kids don't follow the same track as their parent, right?
Absolutely.
Like, somebody has to be the first mathematician in the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because it's hard for you don't mean it's hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and they're just okay with that complacency of, like, well, I didn't get it done. I think that's too hard anyway. Instead of, like, challenging them to see if they actually could do it. I'm not saying you're supposed to be able to do everything under the sun. I'm just saying, like, don't place your complacency on your child. Then it builds, right? My mom will be okay if I don't finish this. I can ask her to quit and she'll just be okay with it. And sometimes, like, the mother especially can be a little bit more passive. And that's why it's, like, good to have a father in the household, because then there's that dominance and there's their assertiveness. So, and a reason why we have a lot of YNs nowadays is because there's no father in the house, so there's no belt, there's no enforcer, of the law. There's just somebody to hold the law,
right?
But there's no enforcer of the law, because women can be real passive. Oh, she's just a baby. Oh, he's just a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but then the guy's like, no, sit him down, let him figure it out. You know what I'm saying? There's that enforcing behind it. So when you don't have that, and especially as the male gets older, he ends up wanting to take his own path. And my mama can't tell me this, but he loves his mama to death. But mom, you can't teach me how to be a man. Or the flaw of what the mother would say, this is a household, you got to help me take care of it now. So you basically placing the burden of
being
a father on a young man. Like, I don't believe in that, because that's not his obligation to take care. Now, I get it, right? Like, you want to have your son provide and take care and, bring some type of worth to the house and income when he's able, right? But that's still a kid.
Yeah.
And you forcing him to grow up fast, and you taking a piece of him. You're taking a piece of his life that he never gets to experience. So later on down the road, he never got to experience being a kid because he was grown his whole life.
Right.
To you, right? So, and that's not his fault as a kid. That's your fault as a parent. Because, don't let me go down that rabbit hole, but I'm just saying, like, you chose that man.
Yeah.
So it's not right for him to suffer because of your decisions. If you knew he was an unfit father, why'd you lay up with him? And why did you continue having kids with him? So don't push your shortcomings as a parent on a kid and get mad at how the kid turns out, because you gave him the keys to the ship when it was already sinking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Seen it too many times, bro.
I also feel that there's a lot of entitlement that goes on with our generation as far as parenting, because of social media. And back in the day, whereas if these women weren't so entitled, they would have to work 2 to 3 different jobs and get it out the mud, and then also tell their kids like, hey, like, this is what it is. I got to do this and that, this and that. You need to do this. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure you are at school all the time, taking care of your studies, doing this, being home, or if you got practice, do this or do that. That's what you need to be.
Right.
Because I'm not doing this for you to go fuck it off. You know what I mean?
And just to, reinforce what I said, mm-hmm. I know a lot of guys that's been raised by single mothers.
Absolutely.
But there's those moms that have the edge, and there's the enabler mom.
Yes,
right. I do want to make it say, like, it's not impossible, but statistically speaking, usually not a good thing. Even if it was a single mother, the dad was maybe somewhere around. And I've seen guys turn out well that way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, if I were to think of a good scenario for a kid, it is a 2-parent home, because, a lot of guys ended up being raised to be narcissists pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Or don't know how to treat a woman because they never seen a guy treat their mom nice. So they had this thing about men, like, I beat up my mama boyfriend, or I beat up my mama X, Y, and Z, whatever. So they never actually learned how to properly love a woman. A woman is just telling them, hey, this is what I would like. You know what I'm saying? But you're not getting that other aspect from the male, that other perception from the male of, how this is how you love your wife. You take out the trash like this, instead of your mom saying, take out the trash, and you don't understand the reason why you taking out the trash. Right. And you hear from your dad, why you taking out, you take out the trash because a woman shouldn't touch the trash, or you should that's how you should want it in your household, right? So, I'm just saying, like, you're teaching, the woman's teaching you one side of the story, but at the end of the day, a man chooses a wife. You know what I'm saying? Your wife doesn't choose you to be her husband. You know what I'm saying? So you're just you're learning. Hang on, let me see. We got an imaginary friend in here again, y'all. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? That's the ratio of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'd feel this
wave, but he just came through.
He right, but shut up.
This wave, he just came through. I feel like there's also, no one seems to understand what it means to be able to have a disagreement, right? And I think that's where it lacks as far as in parenting, and why the YNs lack that as far as in adversity, or just something that someone does not agree with them, right? Doesn't agree with them doing certain things, is because there's a lack of understanding what a disagreement is. I can disagree with you on football topics, right? Sport topics. Like, you can say Kobe's the best. I can say LeBron the best. That's a disagreement. I feel right in my stance. You feel right in your stance. But it doesn't change who we are to each other, because we understand that's just how we feel. And at the end of the day, there's no hard feelings. This is just different topics. So if I'm coming to a YN and saying, hey, brother, put the gun down, pick up a book, or go into the gym if you have a lot of frustration, if you have a lot of anger, go to therapy. You're dealing with some things that no one's taught you how to deal with, and this is not the way. Go on somewhere before I switch cheese your ass.
And then pull out that Drake on your ass.
And now you got to put your hands on me, like, all right,
you got it, my dog.
Yeah, you got it. Because I ain't trying to lose my life over a conversation.
Yeah, you sure?
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard.
Don't worry about it, man.
To have a conversation with YNs if the first thing that they're going to resort to is violence or killing somebody, because it's just a conversation and they don't like it.
Bro, like, imagine.
It don't make them feel good.
Having that mindset at 16 years old, or 18 or 20, 22-ish, like, bro, you got so much life to live, bro. And they be ready to throw it away over a disagreement, or over a female, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, yeah, like, simple things. Like, you ready to crash out over nothing.
Absolutely.
Throw your whole purpose on earth, throw away. You know what I'm saying? Just because you was mad for 10 seconds. But then again, it's the music. It's the influence that they see that, you know what I'm saying? It's cool when you the guy, doing all the work and everybody glorify you, but when you in jail, you useless.
Yeah.
So now, life goes on with or without you. You know what I'm saying? And so people seek purposes through, and it falls back on what we talked about last episode, is just music.
Yeah.
Sometimes music can be so influential because they watching these videos as a young age, and the parents are around listening to it, letting them cuss, and it's little bricks they stack, and when they start stacking them bricks, they end up building a house.
Yep.
Then here come the big bad wolf knocking at the door. Now you got a whole house. Now you finna blow the house down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like these little influences they hear about Drakes and Switches and Drakes or these other thing, and they want to go live that lifestyle because they think it's cool. Everybody can be a rapper. Everybody can blow up, right? But you can make money doing anything, bro.
Anything, bro.
Anything. And you don't have to sit here and rap about a life you're not living. And half of the time, the rappers, they don't even know this, but the rappers don't even live the life they tell no more. And if they did, they probably don't live it no more.
No more.
And if they do, they probably got caught or in jail. So everybody, they probably glorify the Lord of YNs, and I'm not gonna say nobody's names, but most of those people are in jail, and it's like, is it really worth it? Ain't no girls in jail, bro. Ain't no lifestyle in jail. Ain't no career growth in jail, bro. It's just you, four walls, and your thoughts.
You will become a remnant of a person because you will not be remembered by anyone.
Yep.
All those same people that you run with, all those same people that you call your brothers out there in the streets, that you say are your dogs that's gonna ride for you. When you in that cell by yourself during that time, during those hours, those minutes, those seconds, those months, those years, who is gonna be in there with you? Nobody. It's just gonna be you by yourself, and you'll be lucky if anybody comes see you. Say you got a long sentence like 20 plus, right? The same guy that you say was your brother, that you would take that charge for or whatever, would do whatever for in the streets, will be the same guy that's chilling with your girl or your baby mama while you locked up. And people don't understand, the streets are unforgiving.
Right.
It does not love you. It's a game.
It's a lose-lose.
It's lose-lose all across the board. The only way you can survive is by getting out. There's no win. And these are coming from dudes who are hood adjacent, right? We aren't necessarily participating or have participated. We grew up with people who have. We grew up with people who still do. And the thing is that some people understand that this is not the way and they get out. But the YNs don't understand that this is not the way and there's an out to this. They just believe like this is what it is and this is what comes with it and this is life. And your life can be entirely different if you choose to make better choices and change. You know what I mean?
They just waste. I don't know. It's just like nowadays, bro. It's really the parents. Like I keep saying, like the parents be the enabling factor.
Mm.
If it is a plural word, if it's just a parent or if it's parents. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the dad be the most ignorant person in the room. He's supposed to be the most emotionally controlled person in the room. You know what I'm saying? And I be hearing stories from sources that I will not name about parents being in conferences or in rooms or, this and that. And you hear some of the stuff they say, then you look at the child's actions and they're like, no, it can't be my child. Next day, your child knocking out people in school or fighting in school or calling the teacher this or saying that. And you still in disbelief, which is crazy because
it's right in front of you.
Thank you. Like if it's repetitive and you hear it from multiple sources, it's probably true. Probably true. And if you just like you can sit in a room with somebody parent and see why their kid acts the way they act. I've been able to discern between like a lot of people that way. Like if you look at somebody's parents, it's probably a reflection of them. To an extent, you could take that with a grain of salt because I'm not saying everybody follows that stereotype. I'm just saying as far as like when we talk about YNs or kids or that side of the spectrum, it's usually the parents, bro, and it's usually just they enabling or they cool with just doing the bare minimum, or it's too hard to correct his behavior because he rebels or whatever the case might be. But they got it, bro. I'ma always stay out of YN way. You got it. I got too much to lose, my boy. For sure. I'm 27, dog. I ain't finna crash out playing with you.
I think
you want it, take it. God forbid I come across one.
You want to know something else? That I think is a monumental thing that the YNs don't have, or I don't see enough of, is we used to have after school programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have those nowadays, or if they have as many as we once did, if that makes sense. Because there are a lot of changes that are going on in the education industry. You know what I mean? Well,
program.
Well,
when I hear industry, I'm thinking of somebody that
like a business or something like that. Well, just in education.
No, I know what you mean. I'm just playing.
Overall, I think there's a lot of changes that is going on, and it's based upon business now, and not as much of the teachers and the kids, because we had teachers who cared.
Oh, for sure.
We had some teachers who just didn't give a fuck and came for a check, but majority of our teachers cared about our well-being and us being well-behaved and being great citizens or great people once we've gotten out of their class, right? I don't even think they have that as much. I know we know certain people like Destiny and like your grandma and stuff who's still doing it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually care about these kids.
Yeah, facts.
But I've dealt with a teacher who my daughter was in her class,
mm-hmm.
and she did not care about these kids. She cared about a check.
Right.
So where the disconnect is that even the school knew about it, mm-hmm. right? There were multiple parents complaining about the same teacher. Teachers complaining about this teacher. But did the school do anything about that? No. Not only did they keep her, they gave her a raise. So it's like, if you're rewarding this type of behavior, and you're not giving our children any type of tools or any people who actually care about their education or their well-being outside of us, like us parenting and stuff like that, mm-hmm. then what are we setting them up for? Because we're not setting them up for success. Yeah, the parents can only do so much, right? Yeah. The parents are raising the kids and stuff, but once those kids get to school, what is happening there as well, you know?
I feel like school should be maybe a place of peace versus, like, some kids. I know some kids that used to go to school, and even hearing from my family that are teachers, mm-hmm. is that some kids, like, when they leave that space,
oh yeah,
that's like, when that school day is over and that bell ring, bro, they know they're going back to reality.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes Absolutely. Being in the classroom with, Sergeant Holmes or Mrs. McCoy or mm-hmm. Coach Holmes or, mm-hmm. Coach Jones and mm-hmm. Coach Roberts or Coach Brooks, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a place of peace being with them, because, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to worry about, your drunken mom coming across the corner slurring words, or, domestic violence, or, there's something to eat. You're going to eat twice, mm-hmm. 3 times if you're in the after school program probably. Mm-hmm. So, and even like thinking about sports, like sports being made available. I know some kids that play sports just so they just didn't have to go home.
Didn't have to go home,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, then you got the fall sports, you got your summer sports, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was always something to do. And if you was, taking a trip out, like when we used to go to Angleton.
Yeah.
Always used to go to Whataburger. So like, and footballs build character, sports build character, but I'd say mainly football from my stance. I could be a little biased, but, you don't go to practice, you don't play the game. You don't go to work, you don't get paid. You get knocked down in football, you got to get back up. You get knocked down in life, you're either going to stay down or you're going to get back up. You know what I'm saying? This is like the same concepts. It builds discipline. You got to go to the weight room. If you don't go to the weight room, the season going to show that you ain't been lifting weights. You don't go to work, you don't learn how to be a man, you don't learn character. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be a great person in the future. It's just like, cause and effect to everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say, like, the lack of parenting and resources also, you know what I'm saying? But that's on you to get resources. Like, I feel like, some people fall in unfortunate situations. They could, somebody could be somebody that they didn't think, like the dad could be a bad person all of a sudden. He can cheat, switch up. Same for the mom. Mm-hmm. But it's on you to pave a better way and have a better way for your child. And to me, I don't feel like any type of way about saying that either, because that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Why would you have a kid and automatically start their life off in the negative?
Right.
Because you wanted your little pleasure for however long that might have lasted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel bad, and I don't like that, because I feel like it's disgusting to me that you know what I'm saying, don't take the initiative to take care of what's yours and provide for what's yours when, you know what I'm saying, you decided to have that person. So now their early life and their upbringing is based upon your decisions, and you're immature from a start. And some people have babies and end up maturing more, but if you decline, you know what I'm saying, I think that's unfortunate. It's disgusting to me, honestly. I don't have no remorse for people like that. Like, that's your responsibility. You're supposed to make sure they're the happiest, and well equipped for the world, because they didn't have to be here. You chose to do that. Chose for them. So why should they suffer for your actions? You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting to me. But I'll digress once again.
Let's do
times two.
Couple after that good conversation about the YNs. Let's do a couple of let's do a couple of these freezing questions, man. Do you have any? Or do you feel if you were in the position to make a change, or at least make an impact, in case, or not in case, but for the case of YNs, what would it be and why? If that makes sense.
A case of change?
Yeah, something you would change, if you had that power, that ability to change something, to make better opportunities for these kids that we are referring to as YNs, which is, of course, is crazy. It's funny, it's crazy, but we're referring them as YNs because there's a disconnect happening, right? And there's a certain type of behavior that they're, that they're presenting us. If you had the opportunity to, make a change, what would that be and why?
I'd say it's probably make the parents get the same discipline as the kid. So, like, if they do something, put it on their parents.
Oh.
That's your responsibility.
Okay.
Especially if they're a repeater. Put it on the parent. I bet it won't happen. I bet it might not happen as much, but put it on whoever the guardian is.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you're allowing that to come in out your door.
Yeah.
And if you control that space in another sense, why can't you control it in the space as far as your child, grandson, whoever's best interest? Okay. Because you say any other way, this is my house, I do what I want. Then why don't you use that same house to raise what you're supposed to do? Let's talk about it, man. Getting real funky in here. They won't talk about that.
They're cooking some jambalaya.
Thank you. Nice. That gumbo right there.
Right there, that's gumbo. You lying.
Big crabs.
Come on now. King crabs.
That's your space in there.
Come on now.
That's what I said. Don't make it conditional.
I think I have the same sentiment. But mine would be more target to, like, giving the opportunities for parents and kids to, you know how when we go through shit, right, as adults, and it's like everyone said, try therapy, right? But when it comes to therapy, there's always some type of financial restraint, right, for certain people or certain people of that ilk, if that makes sense. And so I feel like if we can create more opportunities for parents and their children to have not only separate counseling, but also like joint counseling as well, to kind of get them to understand, okay, this is an issue, right? These behaviors are what you're presenting. This is a pattern, whether it be the parent and the child, but also be it like, this is what's happening on the outside of this household. This is what you're doing out here. Are these choices that you're making now good for your child's future? You see what I'm saying? And are these choices that you're making now good for your future? You know? So being able to have that and not have to be financially restricted, because sometimes people just ain't got the money. And a lot of people blow off, therapy and things and counseling because it's like, oh, it's just a waste of money. And why would I talk to a stranger about how I feel? Don't nobody else care about how I feel. So why should I go and pay for somebody to care about how I feel? You know what I mean? And I feel like if we can create something that's not like in the school system, right? We had counselors, you know, they were there at all times of the day where we can go up whenever we needed to talk to them. Mm-hmm. But if we had something outside of that for not only just the students, but for the parents and the students, like an after school program, you know what I mean? Where that is free to them. And it's an opportunity for them to say, hey, let's do this to better not only myself and yourself, but better us for each other. If that makes sense. So that would be something I would do.
Right. It's not a bad idea.
What about we got time. Let me do another one. What about the do you feel that saying that you're not a father yet, but bringing a child into the world, do you feel like it's necessary for them to understand, like, this is how things should be, right? And the type of music, the type of media that you're watching, type of music you're listening to, the type of video games that you're playing, do you think that it's mandatory for them to understand, like, you need to be watching certain things like this, listening to certain things like this, playing certain things like this, so you don't end up like this? Because I do feel like media plays a part in how our kids are, like, coming up nowadays, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, I don't want to be, like, I kind of want to be like how my dad was with me. My dad kind of, like, was more the person, like, he told me, hey, don't do that. I wouldn't do that if I was you. But if you do it, that's what's going to happen. And if that happens, don't be saying I ain't tell you so, but the decision on you, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I like that because it turned me into a critical thinker to where I'd be like, before I do anything, like, I'm already thinking about how much gas is going to take to get there, how much this, you know, what could happen. Just like when we was in the store earlier, you know what I'm saying, lock the door. Like, I'm just always thinking about other things that, you know, could happen, would happen, but almost mitigating those circumstances to where it couldn't happen. Right. Or you are in the best defensive position or attack position. If that or logical, or having a good logical stance on something if it were to happen. Right. So that where you're best equipped for success. And then if you don't, well, they just jump the system. But I say I wouldn't want my kid or my son to, or my daughter, or I guess we're talking about men at this point, well, sons, is I probably keep them away from social media, like, because it can be jarring. And if it depends, like, as a kid, you perceive that, like, you look at these supermodels and rappers and women, then you try to emulate them, because we did it. Like everything. Like Wiz Khalifa, everybody wanted tattoos and smoking weed and this and that. But as an adult, you know not to do that because you know what that leads to. But if I'm 12, 13, 15 years old, I don't know that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, like, no, I wouldn't let him have access to certain medias. Like, he won't be a TikTok kid or he won't be a phone kid. Like, you know, go out and learn how to do this. Like, I think they should have a technology edge. Technological edge about them. They should know how to work computers and stuff because that's their era and that's their space of growing. Like, that's how they grew up. So you should know how to work these things. Right. But I'm saying use them to your advantage and not to just sit there and ponder and learn about and watch everybody else's life through a lens while yours is just passing you up. Let people watch you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But also know how to perceive that stuff. Like, just because they're talking about they're doing these things doesn't actually mean they're doing it, right? When they turn the camera off, they still have a reality to go home to. Absolutely. So actually learn your reality, then you'll know how to fixate your eyes on certain people's reality and realize that that's not a life that you would want to live because you know the cons and pros. The other question was, you said how would I what? I'm sorry, I forgot.
You answered it already.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I thought you said, like, how would I structure that? But they just wouldn't have access to that because
you answered it.
because I can't. You can't defend them from everything. Like I don't want to be too hands on, but I'm saying like if whatever mediums I can control, I think I should, because like I want you to be a kid. Don't worry about if my daughter, don't matter about if your booty shaped like this or your breast hang like this or you look like this. My son, don't worry about if you look like this or you're fit like this or you're this tall with this wave or you got this bump on your arm. Like don't worry about that stuff, because those people aren't perfect.
Right. Absolutely.
You just seeing what they want you to see. They're controlling the narrative. So no, like I wouldn't want my kids to be exposed to those mediums, but I wouldn't control it. But I'll say, hey, this is what, especially when they get older, it's like, well, I can't control what you do. Right. But I know for sure I ain't finna have no YN. Nah, brother, you're light skinned. No, you're light skinned. You're already at a disadvantage, brother. You're not going to take you serious. Your hair is curly, my boy. Can't do it, buddy. Your name is Bon Jovi.
It's crazy.
No, I'm just joking.
It's crazy.
Your name is Xander.
Oh,
Nobody's
man.
taking you serious, bud.
I guess we can just go right into the quote of the day, or the frostbite of the day, or at least, words of encouragement or words to live by. I think as of pertaining to this conversation that we had today, there needs to be more of a sense of a village. And we brought this up on a couple of episodes, where we now are finding our tribe, right, within each other, our friend groups and stuff like this, because we trust each other enough to be friends. So I would like to be able to trust my kids with y'all, and then vice versa, right? And I think there's a lack of community. There's a lack of a village that's going on nowadays that we need to push back to the forefront and give these kids the best opportunity to be the best version of themselves. And that's not only going to come from the parents, it's going to come from everybody that the parents surrounds themselves with. You see what I'm saying? Because the parents may be doing the best that they can, right? Whether it's be it financially or however, and they surround themselves with certain groups of people. Now the kid is watching this. The kid is seeing this person, they get to do whatever they want because they're not leashed down or tied down by anything, any set of rules, So I think we need to bring back a sense of community and a village so we can raise our kids right. So that way they're not YNs. Thanks. Well,
or my quote, or you can dial 281-330
8004. Yeah.
You can hit Mike Jones up on the low.
Huh?
Because I heard Mike Jones is about to blow.
Yes, sir. And that's episode 10 of the DipdNWhipd Podcast. I'm your host, Hoff with the Sauce, and my dog, Young Hefe. Man, and we'll be back in episode 11, man. Y'all keep tuning in. Make sure y'all share, comment, like, and subscribe, man. Peace.